On today's episode of the NBA Draft Junkies podcast, I'm your host, James Barlow. I got Latif Love again here with me. This is day 3 of Feast Week. We're going to be recapping performances of Cameron Boozer, AJ Dybantsa, Caleb Wilson, and Neoklis Avdalas. Stay tuned. Big shout out to everyone tuning in. Hopefully you're having a great Thanksgiving. We are recording on Thanksgiving night. The Bengals and the Ravens are playing right now today, but we had plenty of college basketball to feast on. So without further ado, how are you doing today, Latif, man? How's your Thanksgiving, man? My fault.
I'm doing good. I'm still in my college town, so I didn't go home, but I had some food delivered from some friends out here, so I ate good.
Okay.
It was a perfect day for me. I'm a sports junkie, so I sat in front of my TV right here and watched games from 12 o'clock to now. Football, basketball, everything. I love sports, so it was a dream day for me. Can't get too much better. And we had some great performances.
Yes.
From some of my favorite prospects. So I'm happy, man. I'm happy.
Well, then let's get right to it, man. Let's start off with the highlight performance of the evening. Cameron Boozer against Arkansas, 35 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 13-18 shooting. He had 2 steals. Latif, break down his performance for me.
Before I started with Cameron Boozer, I think we do need to talk about Darius Acuff too, because Darius Acuff.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to him, but let's get to Boozer first. You gotta get the entree before we get to the side dishes, man.
Yeah, I tweeted about Boozer tonight, and I said this looks like the Columbus Cam Boozer, because we hadn't seen that much, especially against competition to begin the year. And I don't like to overreact to small sample sizes, but when you watch games and you see a prospect struggling, it's almost human nature to get a bit worried. You see his struggles against Texas. You see his struggles against Kansas.
Tennessee in the exhibition game.
Yep. As a scorer, at least, where it looks like he's struggling against length. It looks like he's struggling against, to finish at the rim in a half court. It's looking like his lift is very bad. So you see all that type of stuff, you get concerned. And then, so for the Cameron Boozer supporters, the Cameron Boozer fans, the people that have Cameron Boozer at 1 like I do, this was just an excellent game for Cameron Boozer. I'm very happy with his performance tonight. I think these next 3 games are very important for me in terms of his evaluation. He has obviously other games against comp, but he has, I think they play Michigan State, if I'm not mistaken. That's one of the best front courts in the nation defensively. Michigan State is one of the best teams in the country defensively. So these next 3 games, he plays Florida too, who has a tough front court to go against. And this was his first test against Arkansas. And he thoroughly dominated Trevon Brazile. Thoroughly dominated him. He was a lot more decisive than in previous games tonight. They gave him a lot of post touches. They cleared the post for him. And I think that Arkansas did a bad job against him. They didn't send enough doubles at all. I don't know what they were doing. But the 3-point shot was going tonight. He got to the paint and was decisive. His touch looks like it's getting back to what it was pre NCAA. The thing about Cam is he's not an explosive athlete. We know this. But when you watched him in high school, his touch was amazing. That's how he was able to finish so well below the rim. He's strong and his touch is amazing. And that was all on display in this game against Arkansas. So I think the processing was there as well, like it is every single game. Made some really good passes. They weren't always assists. He worked really well with Caleb Foster in the pick and roll, rolling, popping. He showed his versatility as an offensive player tonight. He posted up, he rolled, he popped, offensive rebound, drove, shot a 3 ball. He gave you the full Cameron Boozer experience tonight, and I thought he could have been better. He missed too many shots at the free throw line. That's not what Cam Boozer usually does. But his best performance of the year by far. And a performance that will quell some of the overreactors, I think.
For sure. Maybe I'm one of the overreactors. I feel like I was like, hey, he's struggling against length against Texas. He struggled against length against Tennessee. He struggled against length against Kansas. And then, like, today, it didn't bother him really at all. There may be a couple plays, but, I mean, you're not going to make every shot in the paint. But he definitely showed you the total package. And like you said, that looked like the kid that we saw dominate high school basketball, dominate the AAU circuit. And he is extremely talented. When he's making threes and he's able to pick and pop, and that opens up the driving lanes for him. And in that way, if he has a straight line drive, he doesn't necessarily have to have the best vertical, the best pop, because he understands how to use his body. But he played an excellent game. I want to say that was probably the best game of the season for a freshman. We may have to evaluate that against, or hold that against Koa Pete's game against Florida. But it was definitely at least on par. But Cameron Boozer was very, very good. And I'm still, I mean, again, I react to the games that I see and take into account what you see in college, or excuse me, in high school. The finishing in the paint, I would say this. His touch is really, really good. I wasn't concerned with him missing, like, some of the touch shots. It's just that I think that going forward, he's going to need to develop, I guess, a little bit more sauce on the block. He understands how to position himself, but he may need just a little bit more. Again, that's something you can develop. That's no different than me saying AJ Dybantsa needs X off the dribble. That's no different than me saying Darren Peterson needs X, Y, Z as a playmaker. But really, Cameron Boozer was phenomenal. And whether you have him 1, 2, 3 is maybe, I mean, we'll see, man. This is going to be a very, very interesting draft, because Cameron Boozer right now is just better than everyone else. And then you're going to have, I think that some GMs, some are going to say, you know what about this wing player in AJ Dybantsa, who may not be as good as him right now, but we think he can be a lot better in the future. It's going to be an interesting draft. But Cameron Boozer was excellent tonight.
Today he got to that spin move he likes to do.
Yes.
He spams that spin move a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
To your point, I do think he needs to develop a counter, because a lot of his, especially on his drives, he does a spin move. He gets his pivot foot, and his footwork is pretty good down there. Where he he uses his elbow as well to carve
he
out.
was chicken winging tonight.
Yeah, his chicken wing. He uses footwork, and then he does the little touch shots. But I do think that I'm not a fan of mid ranges or anything like that, to be honest. But I'm trying to project you as like a star, creator, offensive engine. You need that counter in your bag, and that's what he needs to develop. Because if you're going to be like a primary face-up player, primary post player, you have to have more than just trying to force a layup. Like, you got to give me a mid-range pull-up, a hook, something. He got to provide. He got to add that to his game. Now, he is extremely young. I think he is like what 4 or 5. He's 4 or 5 months younger than Darren Peterson and Eddie Dybantsa.
Yeah, they were born in January. I believe he was born in July. He's a whole. I think him and Caleb Wilson have the same birthday, but Caleb Wilson's a whole year older, obviously. So yeah.
Yeah. So he is still developing it like that. I think that he can improve his handle a little bit.
It was loose a few times tonight, but yes, I agree.
He still has a way to go, but he's just this good right now without all of that. And again, even when his scoring isn't on, I talked about this at length, he still impacts the game in so many ways. Again, I just think Arkansas didn't double him enough tonight. Like, you saw that. Yeah,
I feel like Kansas didn't have to double him because they had the better defenders. They had more length. And when they didn't double him, he struggled. When they did double Cameron Boozer, he picked them apart with the passing. But I feel like Arkansas didn't have the personnel to play him straight up. And obviously you saw they played him straight up, and he killed them. It'll be interesting to see what Michigan State does, because like you mentioned before, they have length, they have a great defense. You don't necessarily with a guy like Cameron Boozer, regardless of what you may think of his post game, but like you have to show him different looks. Maybe you single him up, maybe you double him at times, but like I said, he's extremely talented, and I think that while he's not my number one player, I have Darren Peterson ahead of him still, even with the injuries. I think that Cameron Boozer's floor is the highest of anybody's, because when it's all said and done, he should be a 20-plus point per game guy, 10 rebounds, going to make plays out the short roll. He's really, really good. You mentioned before We talked about Karen Boozer. Darius Acuff. Tell me why you went. Well, obviously Darius Acuff. He played extremely well. I thought Darius Acuff played his best game of his college career. What were your thoughts on Darius Acuff?
Darius Acuff is someone that I'm a little bit lower on than I think consensus. I think that a lot of people have him like as a mid first round pick right now. I came in skeptical of Darius Acuff because he's a maybe 6'3" guard. I think that it's
6'3" looks generous, but
yeah,
I mean,
it's very generous. I like his ability, his burst, his ability to create paint touches. I think he's a good passer. He's turned the ball over some in high school. But I'm kind of just like as I grow as an evaluator and I look at the league and the trends, I'm getting a bit lower on guards that are shorter and aren't elite shooters. And like that, I'm just lower on that broadly because like yeah, you can create a paint touch, you can finish at the rim. How are you gonna hurt me from three? And that was really my biggest thing with Darius Acuff. And so beginning his college career, he's been shooting so impressively well. I don't know how long it will sustain, but if he keeps shooting like this, like if he give me like 36, 37, 38% from three, with this ability to get to the paint at will, he's really fast. He has a really good burst. I think he can be pushing lateral. I think he can push a lateral. It depends on some other factors as well, defense, rebounding, all that type of stuff. But tonight was excellent. He gave Duke all they can handle. He was the only reason they were in this game because basically everyone else wasn't really creating too much. I think that Billy Richmond got it going. I think
Malik Thomas had some moments.
Yeah,
moments late in the stretch. Yeah,
but outside of that, he didn't get much help from anyone on Arkansas. Yeah, he got to the paint. He shot a three ball well. I think Duke has a problem defensively, especially with their guards. But that's the story for another day. But he gave them hell tonight. So Darius Acuff, I'm watching you because you started the season off really well. In their prior game against Comp this season, he didn't
Michigan
play well.
State.
Yeah, and but Michigan State their defense is
yeah.
So is it his prior game against Comp? He didn't play well, but tonight he definitely played a lot better. So I'm gonna be monitoring him and his play this season because he started out really well.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said. I don't see the paint touches that well. I think he kind of struggles to turn the corner, to be honest with you. And he shot 2 free throws tonight. I mean, he did all this damage on the perimeter. He was making threes. I do buy him as a shooter long term. I think his decision making is improving. That was one of my issues with him coming out of high school. I thought he pounded the ball a lot, but I thought he made good decisions tonight, and he is somebody who I think is a pretty good playmaker. But I mean, he's shooting 3 free throws a game, and I think that his rim frequency was like low, I want to say. So I don't know about him turning the corner full time. I think he's a good athlete, not a great athlete. And again, if we're talking about trends in the NBA, roughly 6'2" guy who doesn't have great bursts, looks like a backup point guard to me long time. And again, there's no shame in being a backup point guard. You want to be in the league as long as you possibly can. I just, at least tonight, it didn't look like he created enough to turn the corner. Again, he did a lot of his damage on the three-point line, but at the same time, he was the reason why they're in this game. He had his best game of the season. I think he's somebody for me that I'm going to have most likely in the 20s.
And this is why sometimes the eye test can be flawed because I'm looking at I saw that from what I watched, and it says he's shooting 28% at the rim in half court. So on seven shot attempts, seven shot attempts the whole year.
But no, Darius Acuff definitely played his best game of the season. All right, moving on. Let's get to top 3 consensus pick, I guess you could say. AJ Dybantsa against Miami. He struggled in the first half. He started off 2 for 9 from the field. He finished 5 of 14, 16 points, 8 rebounds. On the season, though, AJ Dybantsa is shooting 29% from 3, but he is getting to the foul line 7 times a game. He's grabbing 7 rebounds a game. Only 1 stock, and he is averaging 2 assists per game to 2 turnovers. What are your thoughts on AJ Dybantsa's performance tonight against Miami in a win?
I kind of want to hear what you had to say first, honestly.
I go first. I thought that the box score wasn't totally indicative of his shooting performance. I thought he missed. He tried to bang on somebody. He missed a couple other jump shots or a couple other baskets that were. It wasn't necessarily good defense. I'm not saying it was bad defense. They were makeable shots. Mm-hmm. So, but he has the ability to throw away a bad first half and turn it around and turn it into a good second half. That's not to the same degree that he did against UConn, but I thought he was much better in the second half. If he was 2 of 9 in the first half and he finished 5 of 14, it means he was 3 of 5 in the second half, and then he got fouled a bunch of times. So I believe he had 4 points in the first half, so he finished with 12 points on 3 of 5 shooting in the second half. You absolutely take that. The thing is with AJ, and it's worrying me, is that like the 3-point shot is just not there at all. His jump shot is extremely flat, and he shoots darts. And a couple of them, I mean, the pull-up three, maybe he's not creating enough space, but he looks like he's more comfortable handling the ball in the post. And then when he handles the ball in the post, he can draw fouls, he can get to the middle, take that big gather step, and shoot the mid-range jumper. I'm waiting for him to put together 2 great halves. Again, it's very early, but he turned a bad first half into a good enough second half. They got the win on the road. Your thoughts?
I think that some of the misses in the first half, they were making shots for one, and two, like they rimmed out. Like a few of them, like
yeah. Even there was one in the second half that rimmed out. I think it was a catch and shoot 3 that rimmed out too.
Yeah, I think that was the catch and shoot 3 did rim out. I think that for me with AJ, I haven't like loved some of his process this season as a scorer. I think he takes some tough shots. Now he makes some tough shots obviously as well, but I just want to see him create cleaner looks for himself. That's what I'm really waiting for. I think that he held the ball a little bit too long sometimes in the first half. In the second half, not only did he shoot better, but I think he moved the ball better. I think he was more decisive as a scorer in the second half. I think he picked his spots better in the second half. I felt the same way about how he played against UConn as well. So after he struggled, he's been able to bounce back and not only shoot better, but like his process improves slightly or dramatically in the second half. And that's really what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like misses and makes all the time. Just like the process of what you're doing. I definitely want to see him take more threes, especially off the ball. Like I think that Kevin Young is not utilizing him as well as he could because I saw it in small glimpses at Prolific where you can run him off.
Prep.
I'm sorry?
At Utah Prep.
Utah Prep, not Prolific. I'm sorry. Like where they ran them off ball screens a bit. Like you can use that for AJ to not only get him 3-point looks, but to get him downhill with a clearer driving lane. So the foul drawing has been awesome. I don't know how much of a fan I am of the post up looks. He's making them, but I mean they're not like they're contested shots. And also I feel like again in the NBA those are gonna be like bigger defenders. He's been able to shoot over some of these guys that are just too small for him. He is forcing some of those mismatches, but I don't know if I'm a big fan of the process in the post. What do you think about that? Like his post scoring
I think that he's better in the post than he is on the perimeter because, for one, it feels I have to look up the numbers, but it feels like if he doesn't get that look at the foul line, he's drawing a foul every time, and obviously that helps your points per possession every single time because 75% free throw shooter. That helps out. But I feel like the post play will definitely translate. I mean, he's 6'9", and if he's 6'9", and I do think that his ability to handle the ball, I don't think you're gonna be able to put a likewise. Well, there won't be too many like 6'9" wings on him because I think he'll be able to beat them off the dribble eventually. Maybe not now, but I do think his handle is good, and he'll be able to just isolate those guys and beat them off the dribble. But as far as just like anyone 6'7", I think that's going to translate because he's really good. He has really good footwork. He had to play against, I forget who, but was it Connecticut where he pump fake and he reverse pivoted back to the left hand. I think he's going to be fine on the box. Turnaround jumper over both shoulders. I actually like that part of his game more so than his isolation game at the top of the key where he's just handling. I do think he's good in pick and roll, but at the same time, I don't think he has enough opportunities in pick and roll because they're just running him off and letting him play isolation, which is fine. Again, they're winning games, but and I also think he sees the floor better as a passer from the post than he does from the top of the key. From the top of the key, I think he has a tendency to just drive left, and he doesn't see the second line of defense. Where in the post, I think he's actually seeing the floor better, and maybe that kind of slows him down. But at the same time, he only has one option, which is more than likely to go middle. But teams haven't been able to like stop him from going middle because he goes middle and he takes a big step and he's likely going to get fouled. But to make a long story less long, I don't think he was as bad as the box score shows. Like you said, I think there were probably 4 shots where just they rolled out. So, but AJ Dybantsa extremely talented. I'm ready for Darren Peterson to get back in because the conversation for 1, 2, 3 is going to be really, really interesting. Is it going to be a upside decision, or are you going to say, you know what, Cameron Boozer, I know exactly what I'm going to get, and he still does have upside? Are you thinking front office thinking like, okay, who's more box office because it's still a business at the end of the day? It's going to be very, very interesting few months, but you know, it's Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for this draft class because it's a lot of talent. Any other thoughts on AJ Dybantsa?
I looked at the numbers. He is at 1.143 points per possession in the post right now. So
you can't argue against that.
Yeah, I mean, very, very good outcomes. I'm just more so thinking about I feel like a lot of the post possessions he's up against smaller players, and I think that like another reason why he wasn't as effective in the first half is because they said doubles. Like I think Miami guarded him pretty well in that first half as well. So as teams see him like, okay, he wants to get this post up, this face up in the mid range. We're going to send a double and see how he can beat us as a playmaker. That's going to be the counter from opposing coaches, and we got to see how AJ responds to that because I think it was plays in the first half where he
got too low on the baseline for sure.
Yeah.
And he got sort of behind the rim. It was on the left side of the court. And that's when the double teams come. When he catches it a lot higher, then he's fine. But he may be somebody you just have to, like, you got to double late. You can't let him get middle. I think once the film gets out a little bit more, it'll be interesting to see how he adjusts.
You can't double him, like, in the first half, you can't double him late a lot.
Yeah.
And he is a reactive processor.
Yes,
so I
agree with that 100%.
He's a reactive processor, so doubling reactive processors late is the best way to guard him. People do that to Shea too, and that's how you like stop him basically.
Yeah, and that goes back to, I mean, dang, you young, but like they used to put Dirk at the foul line, and don't double Dirk on the catch because you know he's still 7 feet. But eventually, you want him to go right. When he went left, he was going to spin back, and that's when that double came. And there's going to be some sort of variation for AJ because once he if he's not dribbling, you don't want to double him yet because that's when he sees the floor. But once he dribbles, then you got to come late. But at the same time, I think it will translate for him because I think he'll be able to play the 4, and you can mismatch hunt with him. So he won't always have a 4-on-4 or big wing guarding him. So I think that he'll be somebody that he'll get his post touches on plays, but also on just mismatch hunting.
I've heard from people. I've been talking to people. Someone said that he looks like Pascal Siakam, like polished Pascal Siakam, as an 18-year-old. That's what they said.
You know, that's interesting. He moves differently than Pascal, but like Pascal is a matchup nightmare at the 4 because he handles the ball so well. And like he's the best 32% 3-point shooter ever because it just seems like he makes all of them in the playoffs and he just shoots like 30% from 3 in the regular season. But Pascal is interesting. I think it's interesting, man. These comps for a lot of these guys.
I don't think AJ has a good comp. I
don't think so either. We're gonna have to throw him out the window because
he's so unique as a mover. Like I've never watched anybody move like him. The big hop steps, the way he attacks the rim, the angles he takes. It's so weird. Like the way he moves, it's just no one that really moves. Like the Tracy McGrady stuff, I'm not really even seeing anymore. It's just like
that's like for a couple plays. He'll show you he can do some McGrady stuff. but then he just, yeah, I agree with you. He's a very unique basketball player.
For sure.
Moving on, let's talk about Caleb Wilson, who played against, who we've talked about, Michigan State. And before we get to Caleb, I want to shout out Jeremy Fears Jr., who shot the ball extremely well tonight. He had an 0 for 7 game in a win, I believe, against Arkansas. And then tonight he was, 7 of 10, 8 of 10. He had 19 points. I know he's leading the nation in assists. He played extremely well. If the jump shot comes along for him, then he gives himself a chance as an NBA player because he's going to make the right pass. He's going to defend at a high level. And, those guys, wherever they fall in the draft process, whether they're undrafted, two-way guys, like if he's making shots, he has a chance because you need those point of attack defenders for sure. But Caleb Wilson, North Carolina, I want to hear. Let me read these stats, and I want to hear your thoughts on Caleb Wilson's performance. 18 points, 7 rebounds. Go ahead.
I think he started off really well in the beginning of the game. I think he made his first 3 shots. Kid is a freak athlete, man. It's actually ridiculous. He had a transition dunk in the beginning of the game. He had a blow by dunk in the beginning of the game. He was giving Cooper all he could ask for in the beginning of the game. However, as the game went on, I think that it was very clear that they are missing Trimble quite a bit. Their guard play, I think, has taken a dip from him. And I think it came, like, some of his flaws began to show. I think that Caleb is just not very good right now as a half-court creator. And I think
that's why, sorry to cut you off, but that is what, scared me going into this season. And it was, evident tonight in the half court. Like, how does he score now? In transition, man, get out of the way. Good luck. If he happens to get a closeout, his first basket of the game, he went baseline and bang. But go ahead.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, I feel like as the game got closer, and Michigan State is a really tough team to score against, especially with their front court. He started to force shots. He settled for some threes that he's not good at making right now. His handle definitely still needs work. He wasn't able to carve out space. Like, even some of the shots he made in that second half, where his touch actually looked pretty good, he didn't create separation. It was very, very tough looks. So I think right now he's just struggling as a half-court creator. The face-up game wasn't really there today as well. And I don't think he's a good passer, but it's not on the move or anything like that. It's like stationary passing, transition passing. He can do that. And he can't shoot the ball right now. So that's really my big concern. But he was still able to impact the game with getting rebounds, getting out in transition. And I don't think it was a particularly good game for him, but somehow he still ended up with 18 and 12 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Or 18 and 7. So I think the defense today wasn't that great. I think that he missed some rotations for sure. He was able to cover ground like he always does, but he missed some rotations. So I think over the last few games, he hasn't been the most efficient player like he was to begin the season. He's still shooting 67% at the rim. But again, right now he is shooting, I think, 6 for 21 on layups. So the touch around the rim on non-dunks are still concerned because he's not gonna be able to dunk the ball on every play, especially in the NBA. The face-up game hasn't looked like he did since Kansas, I think.
Yes.
So I'm just, again, I have him at 4, or at 5, but I'm still concerned with his utility in the half court when it's not play finishing, because he's a 4, and in the modern NBA, it depends on if you're gonna be a play finisher as a 4, I need you to be able to shoot the ball, unless you're big as a 5. You're a 5 as a shooter. That's pretty much how I feel. If you have any other examples of a 4 that's a play finisher, that's not.
That's what I'm trying to think of.
That. Everybody that's a 4 that is a play finisher, that's a starter, is probably a good shooter.
Or has turned himself into a good shooter. That's a fair point. My thoughts on Caleb Wilson. So he shot 6 of 13 from the field, and if I counted correctly, you had a lot going on today. Thanksgiving, making food, eating food, but he had 4 dunks. So you take away the dunks, or I guess remove the dunks. I believe he was 2 for 9 on non-dunks. There was some splashes of 3-pointers. There were splashes of mid-range jumpers that he shot. But really, the most concerning thing for me is just his balance. He doesn't have a plan. He doesn't have any options when you ask him to create the ball off the dribble and try to make a play. And he gets off balance. He contorts his body, and the lack of strength it doesn't. I don't know if it's a lack of strength. He's just extremely raw when he's not able to run and dunk, and that's a big concern. Like I said, I have him at 4. I think the defensive talent may be too good. The athleticism may be too good to pass, but he's somebody I think needs to add some more skills for sure. Because right now, his skill in the half court, like you mentioned, is what? He's gonna have to, like you said, he's gonna have to be a screening 4-man. He's gonna have to turn into like John Collins. John Collins wasn't a shooter coming out of Wake Forest. He turned himself into a shooter, but at the same time, John Collins' best years was when he was a small ball 5 playing with Trae Young, and then he eventually, evolved his game and to be able to stretch the floor. But yeah, that's what I think is going to have to happen for Caleb Wilson until he, is able to knock down jump shots.
Some of the free throw shooting he's displayed so far has been promising. I mean, I think he's shot like 76% at the free throw line. But something you said really caught my ear is like they needed a bucket down the stretch, and they couldn't turn to him to go do that. Like that's not something.
Right.
If you need a bucket in a half court in a close game, you're not going to Caleb Wilson.
Not at all.
I think that's a kind of like guided way to view prospects, but like all 3 of those other guys, you can do that.
Yes.
You can go. You need a bucket. You can go get in the ball. They're gonna get it wherever way they get it, and you can't do that for Caleb Wilson in a half court. So yeah, that was pretty much my takeaway. But Michigan State is a very, very hard proxy for every prospect to go against. But he hasn't played much comp outside of that. I mean, he
had the Kansas game.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember I tweeted, I was like, man, I mean, he's been putting on this dunk contest for the past month, and I'm like, man, I'm ready for him to play against some competition. And he put on a dunk contest for a few plays, but in the second half, man, you give him the ball in the mid post, there's nothing there. There's not too many good things to take away. And you know what's crazy, man? Ian Jackson, man, he shouldn't have left. He should have stayed at North Carolina.
No, for sure. I don't know why.
I don't get it. Him and Josan Santa do the same thing, and they went to go play at the same school.
He's not a point guard, so I don't know how.
But in the half court, he's somebody that can get a shot. I thought he showed flashes early on last year, being able to create a shot. He just wasn't a passer at all, but he was a very good shooter. But yeah, they need some point guard help for sure. All right, rounding out today's segment, we're going to talk about Virginia Tech's point guard, point forward. Actually, I need to hear your opinion on Neoklis Avdalas, who finished with, I believe, 10 points today on only 3 of 10 shooting. Virginia Tech was without their star big man, who was averaging 15 and 12. So they lost to St. Mary's. St. Mary's is always a good team. I believe their coach is like one of the longest tenured coaches in college basketball. They always win. They keep 3, 4, 5 Australian kids, a couple 7-footers. Just a great program. I wonder if people have tried to interview him and trying to get him to leave St. Mary's, and he just won't. And I get it, because when you have that kind of control, that kind of culture, whatever you want to call it, that they have going on at St. Mary's, like, why leave? I mean, more money isn't always everything. But what are your thoughts on Neoklis Avdalas? What are your thoughts in general about Avdalas and his performance today against St. Mary's in the loss?
I think that Avdalas, I don't think he's a guard. I think it's kind of similar to like Jaeger Demon last year. No, I think his handle is better than Jaeger's. His scoring ability is better than Jaeger's as well, but I think he's more of like a facilitating wing. I don't think you should be trying to turn him into some engine of an offense or anything like that. Personally, I don't feel like that. I think that the great game he had against Providence, I think, to begin the year.
Yes.
We had 33 points. Um, it looked nice. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he definitely looked like Luka in that game.
He's
Um,
just not Luka.
yeah, he's not. He's not. I think my problem with him, generally, is that he can't get to the rim enough. He's at 7 rim attempts in the half court through like what 6 games.
Yeah.
Not great at all. I think his rim to non-rim to ratio not good. I think he settles for like a mid ranges a lot, partly because he loves the shot and partly because he can't get to the rim.
Hmm.
I think he's a really good passer though. He has really
He's
good
got like
shot.
almost 5-1 assist. He had 5 turnovers today, but going into today, and he's still probably at like 4.8-1, which is great. But go ahead.
Yeah, he's a really good passer. I think he's a really good processor. No, I don't think a lot is. He does start turning the ball over. I don't think it's going to be because of his ability to process the floor. He's really good at doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's about like handling pressure with his handle. How long he's going to be able to do it with that. Like handling double teams. How good he's going to be able to deal with that. But I think the scoring is maybe very very rough, especially at the rim. His shooting priors to the season aren't great. Especially off the bounce. So
And he's gonna have to shoot a lot off the bounce because a he's not a guy that's gonna get to the basket a lot.
is it
So he's
also
gonna shoot a lot of pull up jumpers.
also don't think his defense is like good either. So it's like
He's getting you a block right now, but I mean, I don't expect him. He's not gonna be guards. No way.
yeah. So
Right, any stretch of the means.
it's a hard sell for me honestly, and that's I didn't have him in my lottery. People would ask me why I didn't, and I had to explain to them like I need to see him get to the rim more. I need to see his 3-point shot grow more. I need to see how he's going to affect the game defensively. But I do think that there is a niche place for him in the NBA as like a tall wing um, secondary creator, secondary ball handler, especially if he can shoot the ball. But that part I think is very important.
Yeah.
Very important. If he's like high 3-point rate guy that can pass the ball and is not a terrible defender, he can find a spot in the rotation. I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think he is, like you mentioned before, very good passer. I think he's very jump shot reliant, and he's not a great shooter, even though he's shooting the ball well so far. But just history shows that it's going to be pick and roll, step back, or I can't quite turn the corner all the way. I'm gonna shoot a turnaround jumper, and he hit some tough shots today against St. Mary's. But I do think that he may be somebody. He's not going to beat his man off the dribble too often. He's going to need the pick and roll and that Gortat screen to get a lot of layups. But I do think that he would be better with NBA spacing, and even in the same vein of like Yegor, right? Yegor is not getting layups too often on his own, but he's starting to get a couple layup attempts just because the NBA spacing is so much different than college basketball. It's just going to be what is Neoklis going to be able to do. Is he going to be able to generate enough paint touches? And then, like I say, he's not the greatest athlete in the world. Is he going to be able to finish? And then, like, he plays so much like Luka, but like that Luka whistle, and Avdalas is shooting like 3 free throw attempts per game. So that's not translating. He's not the same level of scorer. He may have the same shot selection as Luka, but he doesn't have the same shooting talent as Luka. I do think while he is playing point guard in college basketball, I think ultimately he is a playmaking wing. But like you said, there is definitely room for playmaking wings. Not to give you the Euro on Euro comparison, but like Bogdanovich was like his peak years he was in Sacramento. He came over late. And then he was in Atlanta. He served as their backup point guard at times because he can pass. Not because he's going to beat guys off the dribble, but he could pass. And then he could play next to Trae Young because he was making shots. But at the same time, Avdalas is not this level of shooter, or at least definitely not now. Well, I mean, Bogdan came over a lot later, but like Bogdan he's a burner. I mean, like he's a great shooter. He just can't stay healthy. But I do like Avdalas. I do think he's a late lottery pick. I think that at 6'8", 6'9", you see the passing. If the shooting it continues to be what it is, then I think that you don't necessarily pass on that particular talent. Just being a point guard in the NBA and being a point guard in college are two different things.
Well, what is he shooting from three right now? I do think he has like modern, like the Luka we know shot diet, where isn't able to get to the rim as much. But with Luka though, he has like all time great touch though, and that's like
Yeah.
pretty much the thing. Right now he's shooting 33% from three, in a half court. Um,
What's it off of? I mean, he doesn't really shoot very many unguarded jumpers because everything is off the dribble.
19 of his 24, 19 of his 36 attempts from three are off the dribble. So he is doing that a lot. So yeah, I mean, he's shooting him at 31% off the dribble. That's a good number, honestly.
That's a really good number. And you have to think at the next level, he's not going to be taking nearly as many jump shots off the dribble.
Yeah.
I just think at 6'8", 6'9", there's a lot of talent. Definitely can pass. Really good decision maker. And I think that if he's I hate comparing him, but if he's like a Bogdan type, then that's a, middle of the first round, maybe late lottery, depending on how the rest of the season shakes out kind of talent.
No, yeah, for sure. I got him like in the first round, but like in the 20s though. Right now,
20s.
Yeah.
So he's going to have his fair share of opportunities because they have in the ACC, they still got Duke. I believe they got North Carolina. He'll play against Louisville, so he'll have plenty of opportunities to play against some of these guys who we think are going to be top 5 picks. So, I still do like Avdalas. He just that film against Providence, man. He hasn't been able to replicate that. But at the same time, I do think he wasn't really as aggressive early on in this game today against St. Mary's, and I think he needs to.
Did he get hurt?
More. Nah, he didn't get hurt. He was. I mean, I saw most of the first half.
Last game.
Last game he did. He did.
Okay,
yeah.
last game. Okay.
But the first half, he tried to pick and choose some spots, but they got down. I believe like 9-10 nothing, and then he tried to start being aggressive. But like I said, they're without Toby Lawal. And he's there. He's averaging 15 and 12. I mean, every time you turn on a Virginia Tech game, they're talking about Toby Lawal and his 49-inch vertical. But they definitely missed him. But I wanted him to be more aggressive. They play tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. Man, they got them playing the AAU game schedule. Man, these games super early. But
another thing with Avdala is I think that his efficiency can fluctuate throughout the year and be very sporadic and not consistent, because of how much he relies on mid-range jumpers. You need to have more of a rim volume to have your efficiency at a respectable level. 7 shots is very, very bad. Like, that is very, very, very bad. You can't rely on, like, if you're going to do that, you got to be like a great, great pull-up shooter. You got to be like a really, really great, a Luka level pull-up shooter to survive and have really good efficiency right now. Because I think right now he's at like 49 true shooting percentage in a half court. It's not great. Well, I'm we still 7 games in. I'll be watching though.
Yeah, definitely a lot of talent. It's just him roping it in. Well, that concludes this Thanksgiving episode, day 3 of Feast Week. Tomorrow we got some really good games. We got UConn and Illinois at 11:30 in the morning. That's something to look out for. But I am your host. I'm James Barlow. This is the NBA Draft Junkies podcast. I got my guy, Latif Love. We are out.